Hello my dear kids, very good evening. This is Sundar Rabindranathan here. Hey guys, how is everybody doing? Yeah, hi guys, hi. Hi guys, welcome to this session. We are continuing today with the second part of our Changing Earth chapter. Okay, so today, we are going to deal with certain very interesting stuff. To start with, how are different small landforms formed? There are major landforms, minor landforms, right? Say for example, major landforms could be something like mountains, deserts, and stuff. Minor landforms are small cliffs, caves, right? So how are these kind of what creates these kind of landforms? What is the work of a river? Work of a wind, water, typically waves, etc. How they help in creating different kinds of landforms. I'm sure you're going to simply love it. Okay, I will show pictures against every formation of a landform. Cool? You guys are ready? Raj, we will conduct when we do the revision sprint, we will conduct a test to see how well you guys have understood all what we have taught. However, at the end of every session, you guys know that we have a Menti quiz, right? Hi Ritham, welcome to Vedantu Young Wonders. I'm sure you're gonna love it, okay? Hi Dritiman. Hi Purvaja. Hi Sukriti. Hi Parminder. It's an honor to teach you. Right guys, now let's move on. So, alright, in case there are a few of you who are new. So we are a channel for typically we handle 4 subjects from CBSE per se. Math, Science, Social and English Grammar. Okay. And every day you will have sessions happening for 6th, 7th and 8th. This grade is for 6th to 8th students. 6th, 7th and 8th grade students. And all our sessions are live sessions with quizzes. Cool? So we also have an ICSE series happening on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays for ICSE students. And for people who are, we also ensure we give you a couple of non-academic series. Hey guys, by the way, I told you, right? We are coming out with a coding series, a beautiful coding series. So be ready to learn coding. Create amazing app for yourself. Be ready, okay? Right. So I'm sure you're gonna like it. Do you? Awesome. So guys, this is what Vedantu Young Wonders is all about. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Alright. In case you are kind of looking for full-fledged support in academics, and you would want someone like a coach to teach you everything, to give you test assignments, to evaluate your progress, give you progress reports, all right, and whenever you want to play those recordings and find out, this is the subscription which is there on your screens, which you should watch out for. Cool? So this subscription is typically called as Vedantu Pro, and note down this link guys, vdnt.in/ytpro. This is the link for that subscription. I want you guys to go to that link. Alright, whenever you're free, not now. Whenever you're free, go to that link. Find out for yourself the features of the subscription. Once you go to that link, it is going to ask you which grade you belong to. Choose your grade. Look at the features of the subscription. Watch that video. If you feel it is for you, take it up. Click on get subscription. And you also have an option to choose how many months you want. You want to try out only 1 month, perfectly fine. 3, 6 months. And to get a very good discount because you are watching this video, you are a part of Vedantu Young Wonders, I am sharing my teacher code with you. SRPRO is the teacher code. SRPRO is the teacher code. Cool? Okay. So guys, you have to type the teacher code under coupon code to get the discount. And once you subscribe, you will be connected with the best master teachers. Alright, Vedantu's master teachers, and everything that is taught to you will be in sync with your curriculum. Right? So this is about Vedantu Pro subscription, a great one. In case you are in need, go for it blindly. Alright. Satisfaction guaranteed. Let me tell you that. Okay guys, that's it. So let's start the session. Okay, now our changing earth. Part 2. Major landforms. So we are going to speak about multiple landforms, how nature, takes its own shape through different processes. I am going to explain to you how you will be amazed at how small things that happen lead to huge changes in the landforms. Okay, let's start. See guys, remember the landscape generally, all right, it is disturbed by two major processes. One is called weathering, the other is called erosion. So what is weathering? Weathering is due to severe heat, all right, due to severe pressure, and also due to consistent pressurized flow of water, etc., the rocks start breaking up. This is called as weathering, and this happens in the surface of the earth. All right, heat, pressure, water flow, weathering happens, breakage of rocks. This is one. All right, and number 2 is erosion. Erosion is what? Guys, what is erosion? Hi Naman. Hi Miramadu, how will I forget you? Come on. Guys, if you have a question, please put it. Hi Kizzy. Eroding of the soil. Yeah, very simple. So guys, soil is carried away, gets eroded by water, heavy wind, strong wind, and sometimes ice. Glaciers also erode the soil. Cool? So the landscape is disturbed by water, wind, and ice. This process is called as erosion. It is carried away typically and left in some other place. That's called sedimentation. So now you know what is weathering, what is erosion for now. These might be quiz questions. So be ready. Okay, now whatever the water, wind, and ice erodes, it gets deposited in some place. Look at the picture. All right. So it gets eroded and gets deposited in some place. Rocks are eroded like this, and slowly that get washed away by wind and water. And see, from one place to another, they get deposited in another place. It's called sedimentation. Right? So from one landform, there are multiple landforms which get created as a result of weathering as well as erosion. Is everyone clear till this? How weathering and erosion affects landscape? Come on guys, if you're clear, give me a yo so that I can move forward. Hi Molek, how are you? Welcome back, by the way. Yes? Sankara Sastri, there is nothing called wearing away. Wearing away is pushing it away. Weary is becoming very tired. I'm sick and tired, we used to say, right? Yes. On the verge of breaking. That's wearing. Okay? Cool. So guys, moving on. Is there a question that someone... Right. So we know that there are two things disturbing the landscape, weathering and erosion. Weathering is breakage of rocks. Erosion is carrying of rocks, small pieces of rocks, sand, etc. by wind, water, ice. And they get sedimented in some other places, forming some other landscape. Okay? Moving on. Now river. What is the work of a river in this? How does river affect a landscape? We are going to see that. So guys, remember, when the river tumbles at some steep angles, it starts forming a waterfalls. Right? So when river stumbles, alright, there is suddenly a steep place. It starts becoming a waterfall. Correct? Now, what is, guys, where is the tallest waterfalls in the world? Come on. Simi, I want you to focus on the session. Yeah, you guys found it out, right? Shit. Okay. The highest waterfalls is Angel Falls in Venezuela. Typically in South America, we also have very, very high waterfalls like Niagara, typically which is in the Canadian and US border. Right? And Victoria Falls on the borders of Zambia, Zimbabwe, typically in Africa. So guys, why are we speaking about waterfalls? It is actually the work of a river. Alright. So when suddenly river meets a very steep landscape, it starts falling consistently, thereby forming something called as a waterfalls. Cool? Now moving on. Remember this, look at the picture. When rivers enters a plain ground, you call it as plain, right? Slowly, depending on what is, the nature of that landscape, it starts creating twists and turns by following the path. And these large bends, which you see like snake, right? These large bends are called as meanders. I repeat, meanders. Okay. Due to the continuous erosion, deposition, alright, of the meanders are the bends that are formed. Alright. The ends of the meanders, due to consistent, flow of water, they slowly start narrowing down. Kids, I want you to focus. So when river water enters a plain, it doesn't go exactly straight. No. It starts taking twists and turns. You will not be able to see, guys, because those twists will be, you can see it in a map or from a very higher angle. Alright, but when you see from a naked eye, you will see a huge pile of water. Right, a huge sea of water. And you wouldn't be able to notice the bends. But the bends will be there. We all have heard, right? Rivers have their own twists and turns. And these bends are called meanders. And continuously when water keeps flowing, the ends of meanders, you call it as shore, right? The shore gets narrowed down closer and closer. I repeat, guys, are you clear with this? What is a meander and why does it come, the shores become closer and closer? Hey kids, are you clear? Super important. Yes? Sudev, pretty simple beta. When river flows in a plain, it starts taking, depending on the pathway, it starts taking bends, twists and turns. And these bends are called meanders. And when consistently through the meanders, water keeps flowing, right? When it keeps flowing, slowly there are two sides of a meander. This side is one shore, the other side is another shore. That comes closer and closer. Due to continuous erosion and deposition along the side of the meander, on the sides, the sand, silt, everything keeps getting deposited, right? Slowly the gap gets narrowed down. Okay, in due course, the meander's loop gets cut off from the river and it becomes something called as an oxbow lake. Clear? Let me see if someone is having any question. So what is a meander? All of you know? Okay, what is an oxbow lake? There are people asking. Guys, you see that second picture? Slowly when this, the bends narrow down slowly, they get cut off and they form a small lake kind of a structure. It's called oxbow lake. Are you able to see the second picture? Look at the second picture with that green background. Are you able to see that narrowing down and closure? Yes. Hi, roasted with Appu. Exactly. So first it is a meander, but slowly when river water keeps flowing, that gap, see, it was like this. Left hand side it was like this, right? Slowly this side, this gap keep narrowing down. At one time it closes and it forms what we call as an oxbow lake. Now, on the other side, when a river overflows its banks, sometimes flood comes in, right? River flows like anything. It leads to the flooding of the neighboring areas. when river overflows. Suddenly there is a huge, when rain, when it rains like anything, rivers start overflowing. Because when they exceed the level of the shore, flood comes. The river starts entering all the residential areas. Alright, the neighboring areas get flooded. It doesn't follow the rule of a shore. It exceeds the shore, starts flooding the neighboring areas. Cool? So now guys, when it happens, the river brings with it very, very fine soil, alright, which it carries along with it. They are called sediments. Alright, and once the river kind of settles down, those sand, silt, the fertile soil creates areas which are very, very fertile, where you can do beautiful agriculture, farming and stuff. Alright, and this is called as floodplain. Floodplain is suddenly when a river overflows. I repeat, when a river overflows, it starts getting into the neighboring areas, and as it is flowing, it starts picking up all the sediments and leaves them in the neighboring areas. And suddenly when the situation subsides, the river dries up, but the land becomes very, very fertile with all the sediments. Hey kids, are you guys clear? Supriya, by the time when revision happens, PDFs will be given, not now. Okay? Super. Now guys, the raised banks, the shore side, the bank side, okay, in sea you call it as shore, in the river you call it as banks. Alright, so these raised banks are called levees. I repeat, they are called levees, the raised banks. You see right now on your screen, both the side, left hand side and right hand side, in between river flows, these banks are called levees. Cool. Now when the river approaches the sea, the speed of, suddenly when it mixes with the sea, the speed of the water decreases, because there is a resistance in the sea, and river starts breaking it up, forming branches. These branches are called streams, and the number of streams are called distributaries. Look at the picture now. When river mixes or enters the sea, the speed of the flowing river starts coming down, and rivers start getting scattered into multiple branches or streams. They are called distributaries. Guys, the word distributaries is very important for all of you. So I want you to remember this very, very carefully. Okay. So, hey guys, now you would be wondering, right, if at all someone is saying, sir, this is boring, this is the most exciting class. You know why? What will happen when river mixes with the sea? How many times we would have thought about it? When river, the place where river starts entering, approaching the sea, right? It mixes, it enters, it starts following this, creating branches called streams. And this structure is called distributaries. Okay? Now, the river becomes so slow, alright, it starts depositing all what it is carrying on the shore. Each distributary will have its own mouth. So, collection of these sediment from all different mouths, they form what we call as delta. Guys, see here, you see something, different branches in dark blue color. Are you able to see? Now, when they slow down so badly, all the sand, silt, whatever sediments it is bringing down the river, right? It deposits in, you see something in purple color? Are you able to see the purple color thing? Yeah, that is what we call as a delta, which is nothing but the collection of sediments in a place where river, in a distributary. Kids, are you clear? This is exactly what we call as a delta. So delta is a collection of sediment typically brought by the river, especially when it is entering the sea. Yeah? Right, awesome. Great. There are times when people say Kaveri Delta. What do we mean by delta? This is what we mean by delta. Yeah, okay. And it applies for all rivers, okay. Now, how does sea affects? Now, let us look at how does sea waves. Do waves create or affect the landforms? Let's look at them. Now, you have seen how river affects the landforms. Now, let's see how sea waves affect the landforms. Hey guys, see here. Sea waves are super powerful. You know, right, how forceful they are. So, erosion, alright, and deposition of sea waves, they form coastal landforms. What kind of landforms? Look at the pictures. Sea waves continuously, when they hit the rock, alright, they develop cracks. Are you able to see the cracks in both the pictures? Slowly these cracks become wider and wider. And that's how something called sea caves are formed. Guys, the first picture on the top, this is called as a sea cave. They are nothing but hollow structures which are formed by consistent eroding of the rocks because of the sea waves. Yes? Awesome. So look at what sea wave does. Consistently they keep falling on the rocks. Slowly the cracks develop. Alright, and forms what we call as a sea wave. Now, sometimes when the hollow thing becomes bigger and bigger, they form something called sea arches. Look at that beautiful picture on your screen. That's a sea arch for all of you. That's called as a sea arch. Look at it itself. It has formed an arch, right? Totally eroded a huge mountain, guys. Look at it. Is it not? That's called a sea arch. Now, after a period of time, the arch breaks up. So, the top side of the arch breaks up following something called stacks. Now, in the second picture, what you see is they are called stacks. You will find solitary rocks-like structures standing in the middle of the sea. Sea arch, you can call it like, see, when you travel on the top, it looks like a bridge for you. But bridge should help you to travel from one place to another, right? There is no end to it at all. So it's not a bridge. It is an arch-shaped structure which is created because the rocks, a hollow thing happens when the waves keep hitting the rocks. The cracks widen at one point in time. It creates a hollow structure within the rocks. Now, and when the top side of the arch breaks, it forms something called as stacks. Okay. Now on the other side, guys, look at the other one. Steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above stream water. The third picture, you call it as a sea cliff. So many shootings, you would have observed in films and all. Alright. There are a lot of shooting spots in the sea cliffs. Sea cliffs are edges with rocks which will be there inside the sea, in the middle of the sea. Steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above the sea water. They are called sea cliffs. Yes, rocks do fight with water, guys, because water consistently hits the rocks. So now, guys, sea waves deposit sediments along the shores, because of which the layers keep piling up, thereby forming something called a beach. When you guys go to a beach, what is a beach? You see sea at one side, the other side you have a steep, a raised layer of which we call as a shore. That is what we call a beach, where we can enjoy, right? So sea waves consistently keep sedimenting it on the shore, the sand, different things. That is how beaches get formed. Now, guys, coming to ice, work of ice. So glaciers are nothing but rivers of ice. Look at the beautiful pictures. Glaciers are rivers of ice. They, especially when you go to the Arctic region and all, you will know what it is, Arctic and Antarctic. Alright, they erode the landscape by pushing the soil stones to expose the solid rock which is there inside the sea. Okay, and sometimes these glaciers, what they do, slowly they also move, guys. Glaciers also move. They create deep hollows, and sometimes they create a boundary, thereby creating small lake-like beautiful structures. Alright, so work of the ice. But guys, not much is being used by the mankind because it's not of great use to us. Materials carried, except for sightseeing, by the way. Materials carried by the glacier, alright, like rocks, they form something called glacial moraines. That is the second picture, what you see. Alright, glacier, it keeps, the ice which keeps moving, it creates, alright, these rocks, they sediments the rocks, all different type of sand, silt, and form something like a volcano kind of a structure. You call it as glacial moraines. Looks like an ice cream for you. Yeah, it does, right? Yeah, it is like cutting the ice. Guys, it keeps moving. When it keeps moving, it brings with it the rocks, sand, all stuff, and it gets sedimented, forming something like a volcano kind of a structure. They are called glacial moraines. Now, what does wind do? Wind is very simple, guys. Job of a wind is the sweetest person. All it does is carries away things and deposits somewhere else. So, active agent of erosion is wind erodes the soil, carries it, deposits in other place. Examples are mushroom rocks. Cool? So, an active agent of erosion and deposition in the deserts is wind. Example is mushroom rock. Look at it. Wind erodes the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Guys, are you surprised here? Winds erode the lower section of the rock than the upper parts. Why? Whenever it hits the upper part, it slips through and goes the other side. But lower, when it hits the lower part, it cannot go to the other side. It keeps hitting the rock. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. Right? If this is the rock, when it hits the upper part, it slips through and goes the other side. When it hits the lower part, it keeps hitting because it cannot go the other side. Right? So when the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. This we all know, right? And when it stops blowing, the entire sand gets dropped in some place and forms something called sand dunes. You see the picture? That is the picture of a sand dune. My dear kids, now you know what are sand dunes. When the wind blows, it carries sand with it. Alright, there is a whoosh. A huge pile of sand is taken away by the wind. Suddenly when the air stops, the wind stops, everything falls in one place and forms something called as a sand dune. Cool? Shweta, sea cliff is formed when the water keeps hitting the rocks. Slowly with time it creates a shape. Alright, it creates a shape which is very, very vertical in nature. So it just happens it's a natural process. So because of which you will find that a very steep kind of a structure, it doesn't happen in all places. In few places it's created, which you call as a cliff. Alright, similarly, when sand is deposited, when wind carries light grains of sand, huge distances, it takes it over very long distances and it deposits in multiple areas, large areas, they are called loess. Alright, sand which is carried away by the wind and deposited in large areas which you see on your picture, they are called as loess. Example of loess, sand dunes found in China. Hey kids, I know that we have dealt with multiple things. Just a quick recap for all of you. So what did we start with? We started with major landforms. How landforms are being affected by natural processes. To start with, weathering and erosion. We saw those two. Then we saw what is the work of a river, the waterfalls typically, right? And what is the work of a river? And when river flows in a plain, what happens? It starts forming meanders, right? And meanders narrow down, forming oxbow, correct? So typically, what is the work of, we also saw what is the work of ice, what is the work of sea waves, and what is the work of wind. Are you clear? Ready for a mentee, all of you? Give me a yo. Let's jump into a mentee only if you guys are clear. Hey guys, I know that we have dealt with a lot of things. I want you guys to ensure you patiently ask questions if you have doubts. Otherwise, we'll go for a mentee. Okay, kids, for people who do not know, let me tell you this. I want you to open a separate browser window and type mentee.com, menti.com. Don't close YouTube. Open a new window and type mentee.com, menti, mentee.com. menti, mentee.com. Guys, the code for today's mentee is 2222379558. I repeat the code 22237958. Double 2379558. Okay, let's start the mentee. You guys are ready? 30 seconds. We are going to start the first question. Double 2379558. Okay. First question on your screens. Here we go. In which continent is the highest waterfall, Angel Falls of Venezuela, located? South America, South Africa, South Europe, North America. Already we dealt with this. I don't know if you guys remember. Let's see. Time is running. Wow, 187 of you got this right. Okay. Guys, it's South America. I clearly told you guys. Which continent? Right? You should note that clearly, right? I spoke about two places. And continent was South America. Okay, after the first question, where do you guys stand? Looks like Kunal, Kanish, Chinmay, Madhu and Chetan. Top 5. Dhruv, Arav, Sri Pranath, Edward and Bubu. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kids, question number 2 for you. Oh. The triangular collection of sediments at the mouth of a river. Sediments forming at the mouth of a river forms what? Beach, delta, arches, glaciers. Okay, simple question. River, yeah, river. There is only one thing that we discussed. Sediments of a river at the mouth. I showed the picture as well. I gave one example also. How many of you chose delta? Wow, whopping guys. That's like my boys and girls. Wow, wow, wow. 271 of you got this right. It's so heartening to see right answers like this. So, Kanishk, Edward, Bubu, Kushbu, Sri Pranat, top 5. Love, Maulik, Akhilesh, Anurag and Dinesh. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kids, next question for all of you. The question is, the steep rocky coast rising almost vertically above. I showed you guys the pictures, right? What is that called as? Someone also asked a question around it. Tricky, don't miss it. Don't choose the wrong answer. Come on. Steep rocky coast rising above vertically. Someone asked a question and I answered as well. How many of you chose D? Not bad. 172 of you guys. It's called a sea cliff, guys. Someone asked me, sir, how is sea cliff formed? For which I answered this. Now, question number 4. Before that, the leaderboard. Khushbu, Maulik, Rutu, Love and Monmita. Top 5. Guys, beautiful. Leaderboard keeps shuffling now. Manesh, Arush, Mishka, Vijay and Snithin. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Question number 4. And the question is, which is an example of a glacier? Aravalli, Anamudi, Gangotri. None of these. One among this could be a glacier. Choose the right option. Time is up. How many of you chose, by the way, Gangotri? 170 of you chose. Wow, not bad. Good guys, good. Keep it up. So, after 4 questions, you have 3 more questions to go. Maulik is well at the top, followed by Manish, Rutu, Love, Snithin, top 5. Lucky, Gauri, Rajveer, Navya, SS. Manan. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So guys, question number 5 for all of you. Here we go. Deposition of sand in a low hill-like structure is called what? Sediment, sand dunes, hill, desert. Deposition of a sand. Suddenly sands get deposited and it forms a small hill-like structure called what? Time is running. How many of you chose sand dunes? Wow, not bad guys, superb. 227 of you. They are called sand dunes. We saw the pictures as well, right? So guys, Maulik, Manish, Love, Rutu and Snithin, top 5. Navya, Rajveer, Ilakya, Ishu and Sudev. Hi Sudev. Yeah. I remember you and your question. Alright. So guys, question number 6. Only one more to go after this. Be ready, all of you. Deposition of layers of fine soil along the bank of rivers. Alright, they form something called distributary loess floodplain stacks. Along the bank of the rivers, alright, layers of fine soil gets piled up and they form what? Distributary loess floodplain stacks. Guys, floodplain, suddenly what happens? When the bank, the river overflows, it takes all the fertile thing and creates a fertile plain, and when the river dries up, that place becomes a very fertile soil. We call it as floodplain. 6 questions are over. What does the leaderboard say? Guys, looks like Maulik is well at the top, guys. Good. But not anymore. It's getting closer. Manish is at the top now. Guys, Manish, Maulik, 6 points difference. Only one question to go. And Rutu is not very far. Rajveer, Gauri, top 5. Shambhavi, Naimisha, Stingelicious, Lucky and Manthan. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gets probably the closure question for today's session. Here we go. Where is Niagara Falls located? On the border between Canada and US, border between South Africa and Cambodia, border between Canada and Chile, or border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Niagara Falls. Again, we dealt with this today. We discussed 3 different regions. The first one was Niagara. Of course, after Venezuela. Yes, between Canada and US, the border between Canada and US. So guys, who's going to win the quiz now? Maulik? Manish? Wow, again Maulik is back and he's winning the quiz. Well done, Maulik. Congratulations. Great job done. You know what? You're a fighter. Keep it up. Congratulations, Maulik. And not just him, Manish, you are too close. Great job, beta. Well done. Congratulations, Rajveer, Stingelicious, Gauri, Divya Shri, Natmisha, Naimisha, and Lucky, Manthan and Pinky. Guys, great job. Keep it up, all of you. I hope you enjoyed the session. Hey guys, I know it was kind of a long session, but please go through this recording again and again, so that there are a lot of small data points which I discussed, explaining what is a sea cliff, what is a floodplain, alright. So what are oxbows and what are typically meanders, lot of things, right, today. So please ensure you go through them again, okay. And yes, if you like the question, please hit the like button, the entire session if you liked it. And in case you haven't subscribed to the channel, do not forget to subscribe. Okay, and when you subscribe, remember to enable the bell icon. Cool? Bye-bye, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow in the evening at 6:30. Until then, this is myself, Sundar Rabindranathan, signing off, guys. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening. Stay safe, all of you. Bye-bye.